Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're in the very last book of the Old Testament, Malachi. Now it's a short one, just 4 chapters, but it packs a powerful punch, a final urgent word from God before 400 years of silence. The people of Israel, well, they had returned from exile. The temple was rebuilt, but their spiritual passion had faded. The overall theme of Malachi is a call for a renewal to a covenant commitment. God's people had grown apathetic, and the priests, well, they had become corrupt, and their worship, well, it was a joke, to say the best. Malachi uses a series of 6 disputes where God makes a charge, the people object, and then God proves his case. It's a call to a return to a genuine, heartfelt obedience, reminding them of God's unchanging love and the certainty of the coming judgment. So let's break down chapter 1. The main point here is God is worthy of our best, not our leftovers. The chapter opens with God declaring, I have loved you, but the people, feeling unblessed and discouraged, respond with skepticism. How have you loved us? Well, God points out that he preserved their very existence while the neighboring enemy, Edom, well, it was utterly destroyed and wiped out. That's his love and sovereignty on full display. Their ungratefulness is evident in their worship. The priests were allowing blind, lame, and sick animals to be sacrificed. They were treating God's altar with contempt, offering to him what they wouldn't dare offer to their human governor. Malachi declares that God's name is great among all the nations, but being despised by his own people, well, that's just not going to stand. Moving on to chapter 2, the main point here is twofold. The leadership, well, they must lead rightly, and the people must honor covenant marriage. First thing God addresses is the corruptness of the priests directly. They had strayed from the covenant of Levi, failing to instruct the people and leading them directly into sin. Their job was to be a messenger of the Lord of hosts, preserving the knowledge and true instruction that he'd given them. But they had become corrupt, and God warns them of the severe judgment if they don't repent. He'll spread refuse on their faces. Secondly, Malachi confronts the people's infidelity, specifically the divorcing of their Israelite wives in favor of marrying foreign pagan women. This is a direct breach of the covenant with God and with each other. God says, "For I hate divorce, because it covers one's garments with violence and betrayal." He reminds them that he made husband and wife one, seeking godly offspring. Covenant loyalty must be practiced both vertically with God and horizontally with each other. In chapter 3, it brings us to another famous dispute in the form of an appeal. Return to me, and I will return to you. This is where Malachi introduces the promise of a messenger who will prepare the way for the Lord's own arrival. The Lord will come suddenly into his temple like a refiner's fire to purify the priest and his people. It's God telling them that there will be an accounting for all of this. Then comes the charge. Will man rob God? Yet you're robbing me. And the people ask, how are we robbing you? And God answers, in tithes and offerings. By withholding the required portion, they were essentially stealing from the one who had provided everything to them in the first place. God challenges them with a test. He says, bring me the whole tithe into the storehouses and see if I will not pour out to you the blessing until there is no room left to receive it. Well, they respond to this charge, and their act of obedience is a demonstration of their renewed trust. The chapter ends on a note of contrast, showing that God sees and remembers those who fear him and talk to one another about him. He'll keep a book of remembrance for them. I'm keeping my eyes on you. We conclude with chapter 4, and the main point here being the day of the Lord, a day of judgment for the wicked and healing for the righteous. We've seen this referred to several times in the Old Testament and here again in Malachi. This final chapter describes the terrifying day of the Lord, burning like an oven, consuming the arrogant and evildoers until no root branch is left. This is the promise of a final judgment against all unrighteousness. But for those who fear God's name, the Son of Righteousness will rise with a healing in his wings. The title Son of Righteousness appears here only in the book of Malachi and directly points to Jesus Christ, the only Son of God. They will go out and leap like calves released from their stall. This is a clear image of joy, freedom, and vindication. Finally, Malachi closes the entire Old Testament with a look back and a look forward. Remember the law of Moses, and behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before that great and dreadful day. This prophecy of Elijah is later understood to be fulfilled by John the Baptist preparing the way for Jesus Christ. Malachi, well, it's a mirror for us today. It asks us if our worship is sincere, if our commitment is real, and if we are living like we believe God's coming. The good news is that just as he promised a messenger, he sent Jesus, the ultimate Son of Righteousness. The call still remains, return to him. Now, this is the point where many pastors will point out that God went silent for 400 years. But did he? If you recall back in Daniel, God has revealed to Daniel many prophecies and visions of the future events that were going to happen with the nations of the world and with the rise and fall of empires. Well, that is what's happening during those 400 years of silence. God doesn't have to speak because he told them through Daniel and through all the other prophets exactly what was going to happen. Therefore, he had no need to speak. But when he did speak again through John the Baptist and through Jesus, his son, well, most of them still wouldn't listen. Well, that brings us to the end of Malachi. Congratulations to all of you who have continued along with us through our reading plan. You've just completed reading the Old Testament in only 9 months. But some of you may have just joined us. And others, well, you may have found it a little bit difficult to keep up. Admittedly, there are some tough and rough spots to get through in the Old Testament. But we have another opportunity for you, and it might just be a little bit easier to do. Tomorrow is October 1st, and we are starting chronologically through the New Testament. So I would like to issue a 92-day challenge to you. From October 1st to December 31st is 92 days, and I want to challenge each of you to commit for the next 92 days to join us in reading through the New Testament, and invite somebody to do it with you and help keep each other accountable to the challenge. So what part of Malachi resonated with you the most today? Let me know if you would in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It does help our channel reach other people. And I hope to see you again here tomorrow on Set Sail with Grace Harbor.